Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So, I didn't really know that E3 sort of kicked off yesterday. Basically with the press conferences from Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony. But apparently they did. And a few things came out of those press conferences which a lot of people have been talking about. Now, according to IGN, which I just happen to have right here, it seemed that Microsoft came out swinging. They came out swinging strong. They were basically saying what needed to be said. But then Sony, later on that day, did their press conference, and basically, to quote Angry Joe, committed legalized murder. In other words, what Sony presented basically, and I guess IGN put it in a little bit of a meme here online that you can find at Facebook as well, basically delivered what could be the fatal blow to Microsoft. See, Microsoft has a lot of things apparently with a new next-gen console that are going against it in such a way that when Sony presented their next-gen console and finally revealed the design of the PlayStation 4, which, to be honest, does kind of look like a little bit, almost very similar. I mean, okay. The console design for the PlayStation 4 has that PlayStation look, but it's kind of built in almost in the similar manner of the Xbox One, but not exactly. Like I said, it's got that traditional PlayStation look, and the difference is, one of the big difference is it's tilted. Yeah, the thing's tilted. It's kind of slit. It's kind of like, here's the console, and it's kind of like this. The top's kind of like this. A little bit. Straight, top's a little still tilted. Now, apparently, Sony has come out and has said exactly what fans have been wanting to hear. And that is the fact that what Xbox is denying you with Xbox One, what Microsoft is denying you with Xbox One, they will not. That's right. They will not deny you most of what Xbox is doing, what Microsoft is doing with Xbox One. And what that means is, any membership you have, if you have a PlayStation Plus membership, you're worrying about whether or not it will go over the PS4. Guess what? It will go over to the PS4, no problem. Even if you become a new member, let's say you go out and you buy a PlayStation 3 tomorrow, or you buy a PS Vita. Guess what? You get your membership through that, it'll carry over to PlayStation 4, no problem. And $5, I didn't even know this is how much PlayStation Plus cost. The membership costs $5. That's pretty good. I might look into that. Because one of the biggest killing blows, if you will, or big wounds, one of the biggest shots that they basically fired yesterday during these press conferences, not only did they do it through a conference, but they did it visually through video, like through a little video shot, if you will. Okay, because here's the thing. Microsoft has come out and said you got to pay a fee. You want to lend your games out, your friend cannot play them unless they go onto your account or unless they have to pay a fee. You cannot buy used games without buying them and having to pay a fee, essentially altogether paying more for the used game than you would if you bought it new from a retailer like Walmart or Amazon or Target or Best Buy. So basically, Sony has said, hey, we're not going to be like that. We're going to give the fans what they want. And what the fans want is to keep things simple in the way they are and the way they're used to them. Because Sony understands that that right now in this economy, not many people can afford a lot. You know, we can't afford certain things that they can. You know, we can't afford to go out and pay for memberships. You know, that we could pay, that we don't, not memberships, but knowing we can't afford to pay for fees. And essentially, if you go out and buy a used game, or you lend your game to your friend, they essentially would pay almost the exact same amount for what you buying it for, basically buying it new by themselves. And a lot of people don't like that. Personally, I don't like it. Honestly, I don't. I don't like the fact that I would have to go out and, let's say, if I wanted to, buy WWE 2K14, the sequel of this, used, and then install it into the Xbox One, and then have to pay another fee on top of that, essentially paying more for this than I would retail-wise. I mean, I like my Xbox. This thing has served me for about 4 years now. In fact, I still have the original controller right here. This thing has served me well, and still continues to serve me. And the fact of the matter is, no matter, what people say, unless Microsoft gets their act together and fixes the problems that many people see that they have with the Xbox One, then there's going to be a lot of people that if they still want to play Xbox, they're going to want to play an Xbox, they're going to go out and purchase the 360 more than they are the One. And that's a fact. That's a fact right there. And the list of games basically is longer the list of games for the PS4 is longer than what the list of games are for Xbox 360. And to come out and say that you have right off the bat that you're going to have certain titles launching on the day that you launch that PS4, and then you have a ton of other titles to be determined or to be announced for this year and next year, more than what you see for the Xbox One, that's saying something. That's basically saying you're back in the game. You are back with a vengeance. I mean, and then get this, PS4 comes with 500 gigabytes. Not bad. It's the same amount as the Xbox One, but now they're possibly talking about other models. In other words, models that could be a little bit more, but would have more gigabyte, or maybe even terabyte, if you know what I mean. So, what really, in my opinion, sealed the deal, and I think in the opinion of everybody, sealed the deal that they're going to want to go from this, which a lot of people will still keep, to PS4. What was the sealing deal besides the fact that you can now basically, let's say, lend out your 2K14 game of NBA or WWE and say, here you go, and then your friend can play it with no problem, whatsoever. What what is the selling point besides that? What's the point that's really going to make people go, okay, we gave Microsoft a chance with the 360 and it proved to be a successful thing, but right now it looks like PS4 is going to be the 360 of the next gen console. Let's go in that direction. What do you think? So what do you think the selling point was? The real confirmation that the PS4 may be the one that wins the holiday market this year. I'll tell you what it was. The pricing. Apparently, Xbox wants to price their Xbox One at $499, essentially $500. That's half of $1,000. And then topple on top of that, the price of possible games, maybe the fees. That's not going to be an attractive sale for a lot of people. But then you put on top, but then you take a look at PS4. They're selling their cheapest. They're selling theirs for $399 right off the bat. And you know what? That's an attractive. I mean, 400 instead of 500 is more attractive to me than anything. It is. It is more attractive. And I'm going to get it. I swear I'm going to get it. I know some people may be thinking, but it's a lot. Even 400 is still a lot. Yeah, it is a lot, but guess what? I'm willing to pay it. If I can't go to Las Vegas this year, that's going to be one of my gifts to myself. The good thing about this is it comes out in November. That's a good thing because here's the deal. My mom will be at work again. Will be working again at that time. Me, hopefully we'll have our bills down by then to the point that I'll be able to get this on my own without no worries. I mean, that's basically, I don't know if you can see that very well, that is basically what the system's going to look like. Now you see they're saying they're not ruling out the possibility of additional models. It says, Sony dropped a megaton announcement tonight when it revealed that the PlayStation 4 would cost $399, $100 less than Microsoft's Xbox One. But what exactly does MSRP net you? In addition to the specs detailed in February, in addition to the specs, not space, but specs detailed in February, Sony has confirmed that the PS4 will ship with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, putting it toe-to-toe with Microsoft. What's more, Sony isn't ruling out the possibility of producing additional models. So what that means is Sony pretty much knows, hey, people are going to probably be using a lot of that gigabytes, a lot of that hard drive, if you will, not just for games, but for whatever else we have on there for them. What do? Well, obviously the next thing for them to do is to bring out one that's going to be not 500 gigabytes, but be 1 terabyte. Now, the $399, the fact that you can lend your games out, buy used games, and play them without no problem whatsoever. We may have to install them, but there's no fee or whatever. May have to install them, not ruling out that possibility. But without a fee and all that. To me, I think honestly Sony right now has definitely put Microsoft on notice by saying, hey, we're back. We're back to being what we were when you first got into this. We're back to dominating games. I mean, look. When they brought out that system right there, I don't know if you can see that very well. When they brought out the PS1, they dominated the N64 and the Sega Dreamcast. Well, Sega Saturn, I should say. And then when they brought out this baby over here, right there, they dominated that and the GameCube. That's what they did. And they even dominated the very first Xbox. So if that doesn't tell you that they've gotten back on their A game and said, hey, we're going to retake our throne. We're going to retake our position as the gaming company. After tonight, I don't know what other proof you need. I don't know what other proof you need. Like I said, I don't know what other proof people are going to need coming out of this. I don't know. I mean, you've got your Call of Duty Ghosts game coming out for both systems, probably going to sell more so on the PS4. You've got EA's NBA stuff with both systems. You've got games. I mean, Sony right now. I'll be honest with you. It's definitely put, like I said, they've put Microsoft on notice. They've put them on notice, and they have said, look, we are here to stay. We are here to play. You want to beat us? You want to fight us? You want to go to war for another 6-7 years? Fine, bring it on. And again, what this is either going to do is it's either going to wake Microsoft up and make them realize they're going to have to take that Xbox One back and rework it, or it's just going to make people at Microsoft go, okay, hands up, we're done. I mean, think about it. That's what a lot of people are already speculating with Xbox. They're speculating at the fact that with Microsoft, that with the introduction and revelation of Xbox One and what it's about, that essentially the Xbox One is going to be to them what the Saturn, well, not the Saturn, but what the Dreamcast ended up being to Sega. And that being its last console. That's right. It's going to end up being their last console, and they're not going to like that. They're not going to like realizing that this console they're going to be bringing out later this year, at the end of this year, could be the last one. And that Sony has definitely now set the bar. But we do have to be realistic about it. Even though it's great that we'll be able to buy used games, rent games, lend games out to friends without no problems whatsoever, without any annual fee, without having to pay any kind of fee or anything like that. And despite, and also with the fact that it's going to cost around $3.99, and you're basically getting a lot with that for 500 gig. You're getting 500 gigs with that too. The fact of the matter is, and this is just a fact, the fact of the matter is, we cannot, not the fact of the matter, but the reality is we cannot, just jump for joy just yet. Because let's not forget one thing, folks. When they brought out the PS3 years ago, everybody was happy about it. But what happened? There were a lot of malfunctions. There were a lot of problems. And they had to go back and fix them. My point is, don't jump for joy just yet. Yes, the PS4 is no doubt going to sell out more than the Xbox One and possibly the Wii U. There's no doubt about that. But we cannot jump for joy just yet. We cannot jump for joy just yet until that first sale is made. Until that first PS4 is opened and played. Only then will we know if that thing's going to be worth it, if it's going to not have a repeat of the PS3. Now, my honest opinion though, I don't think we're going to get a repeat of PS3 when it first came out. I don't think we will, but again, we cannot take any chances. We got to really wait until the official release for the possibility of whether it's going to be good or not. I'll tell you this right now. I'll be honest with you right now. You see, I'm trying to find a place here on my TV here. I may have to move I'll figure something out. But down the line, I'm probably going to have to move my... I don't know how I'm going to do this. I got so many systems in here. I may have to put my PlayStation 4 on top of my TV if I get it. Either that or put something on top of there, like the DVD player, DVD recorder, or the Xbox. Probably more so the PS4, I think. I'm not really sure just yet. But I am definitely, with everything that's been announced, I am one of those that's in favor of leaning towards getting the next PlayStation 4. I really am leaning towards that direction. Because no fees. Ease for the fact that you want, when you buy or rent a game, no fees whatsoever. You know, price is very reasonable. And it looks like it's going to be the better system. And on top of that, it will allow you, if it still stays true to what PS3 did, it'll allow you to play Blu-rays. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most as well. But again, we just have to wait and see. Now, I don't know about backwards compatibility, whether they talked about that or not, whether the backwards compatibility is going to be through cloud gaming, which they've announced is going to be a part of this. Whether you'll be able to physically put a PS3 game in there, we're not really sure yet. My thought is, if we have the PlayStation Network going, this is my thought, that PS3 games and PS2 games and maybe even PS1 games are all going to be on demand. That's what I feel is going to happen. PS1s may end up on the Vita, but I think they'll also end up on the PlayStation Network for like PS4 and such. Same as the PS2 games and probably a majority of the PS3. I think they're all going to be on-demand games. That's how I think it's going to happen. But as far as the used games and all that, I am glad they're just keeping it simple. I'm glad they're allowing it to stay the way it is. Because to me, if they would have done what Microsoft is doing, it would have been a slap in the face. And I think Sony's realizing that if we would have gone in that direction, we would have basically killed the video game business again. But again, I'm definitely in favor right now of the PS4. I'm definitely in that camp. So I may be paying more attention to what the PS4 has to offer, game-wise and stuff. But I'm not keeping my eyes off of this, the Xbox, or the Wii or the Wii U, because I still have a Wii, I have a Xbox 360 still, and I do possibly have the possibility. I do look at the possibility of getting a Wii U, probably maybe even next month for my birthday. I don't know, but we just gotta wait and see what happens. But I'm looking really forward to what occurs in the next few months, and whatever else new specifications and stuff that we get along with this. I'm really looking forward to it. And I can guarantee you this, the day I get a PS4 is the day when it arrives that I will be doing an unboxing of that PS4. You can guarantee that. So, again, right now, I have to say Sony has won the first battle, is fired the first shot, and has won the first battle in what will be maybe another 7-8 year long run of next gen battling. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the next few months, wait to see what happens in the next few days at E3, and that's all I'm going to say. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you agree that Sony has won the first battle? And do you think they've won it with the first shot fired? Or do you think Microsoft and Nintendo will keep fire bigger shots in the next few days and next few months? Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll talk to you all.